One day right there in Alabama, little black boys and black girls will be able to join hands with little white boys and white girls as sisters and brothers. I have a dream today.
Hey, Shalom, Israel, Most High Christ bless. This is Kani. I want to make a quick post on Deut 28:3. I don't think I've ever seen a video on it. A quick post, but it's something that always once in a while comes back up, and hopefully this can be edifying to those that don't understand it. Deut 23 verse 7. Thou shalt not abhor an Edomite, for he is thy brother. Thou shalt not abhor an Egyptian, because thou was a stranger in his land. The children that are begotten of them shall enter into the congregation of the Lord in their third generation. So, it's taught by many people that Esau or Edom, being so-called Caucasians today, that they should not be hated. And what the scripture says is true. Thou shalt not abhor an Edomite. But we're going to go back and see, is that still for today? And what is the Most High telling us? Let's go back in the chapter a little bit. I want to read verse 3. An Ammonite or a Moabite shall not enter into the congregation of the Lord, even to their 10th generation shall they not enter into the congregation of the Lord forever. This is the point. Because they met you not with bread and with water in the way when ye came forth out of Egypt. The reason why they were not allowed to enter is because they didn't deal with this right when we came out of Egypt. And because they hired against the Balaam, the son of Behor, and Pethor of Mesopotamia to curse thee. So, because they didn't met us with water and bread, and because they tried to destroy us, the Lord said they can never enter in. Let's jump on down to verse 7 now. Thou shalt not abhor the Edomite. So, back then it was right, because he's thy brother. But remember what happened with Ammon and Moab. Because of the way they dealt with us, the Lord said that we were never going to deal with them, because they dealt with us wrong and tried to destroy us. Now watch this. Go to the book of Amos. That's why it's very important to read precept upon precept, and then you can get the understanding thereof. Alright? Amos chapter 1, verse 9. Thus saith the Lord, for the 3 transgression of Tyrus, and for 4, I will not turn away the punishment thereof, because they delivered up the whole captivity to Edom, and remembered not the brotherly covenant. So we were delivered up to Edom, and the brotherly covenant was not remembered. Meaning what? The Edomites brought us into slavery. That brotherly covenant was broken. What was the brotherly covenant? We just read that back in Deut 23 verse 7. That you were not to abhor an Edomite. Verse 10. But I will send fire upon the walls of Tyrus, which shall devour the palaces thereof. Thus saith the Lord. For 3 transgressions of Edom, which is Esau, or Caucasians today, and for 4, I will not turn away the punishments thereof. So he's not going to turn away the punishment he has for them. It says, because they did pursue his brother with the sword. So Edom pursued after us and tried to destroy us. When they tried that in the time of the Babylonians with Nebuchadnezzar. Remember, they said, race it even to the foundation thereof. They wanted to destroy us. It says, because they pursued his brother with the sword, and did cast off all pity. He forgot that brotherly covenant. And his anger did tear perpetually. He had a perpetual anger. That's why today they still don't like him. Because of these prophecies, that their anger will tear perpetually. You know what I mean? To tear, to rip in half, where perpetual means there's no fixing it. Perpetually. And he kept his wrath forever. And his wrath is still upon us. That's why we came over here in captivity. Because of the hatred that they have for us. So, back in Deut 23, when it says, abhor not an Edomite, for he is thy brother, that brotherly covenant was broken. The same way the Ammonites and Moabites did not meet us in the way with bread and water, and they went about to try to curse and destroy us, and we were not to deal with them, the same way Edom broke their brotherly covenant, and they perpetually did tear that relationship. So when it was written in Deut 23, verse 7, it was correct. But that's over now. Let's read on. Abhor not an Edomite, because he's thy brother. It says, and thou shalt not abhor the Egyptian, because thou was a stranger in his land. And we were not to abhor the Egyptian, but there was a stranger in our land. What it says, the children that are begotten of them shall enter into the congregation of the Lord in the third generation. So this is the children begotten of them is going to enter into the congregation of the Lord. What does that mean? People want to take it today and say that means we're all going to be together and it's going to be one big happy family. No. Let's go to the book of Joshua. We're going to explain what it means to enter into the congregation of the Lord. This is Joshua chapter 8, verse 33. And all Israel and their elders and officers and their judges stood on this side of the ark and on that side before the priests and the Levites which bear the ark of the covenant of the Lord, as well the strangers as he that was born among them, the strangers as he was born among them, the strangers as he was born among them. Go back to Deuteronomy 23, verse 8. The children that are begotten of them shall enter to the congregation. So what we're reading here, here's the answer. The children that were born among them. Okay, born among them, half of them over against Mount Gerizim, and half of them over against Mount Ebal. And Moses, the servant of the Lord, had commanded before that they should bless the people of Israel. And afterward he read all the words of the law and blessings and curses according to all that was written in the book of the law. There was not a word of all that Moses commanded which Joshua read before all the congregation of Israel. Remember that word, congregation of Israel, with the women and the little ones and the strangers that were conversant among them. Conversant amongst them meaning we dealt with them, like it says in Exodus 20. On the 6th day thou shalt labor and do all thy work, but the 7th day is the Sabbath of the Lord, in it thou shalt not do any work. Thy servants, thy manservant, thy maidservant, thy ox, nor thy strangers that is within thy gates. So what does it mean? The servants had to keep the commandments. So when it says back in Deuteronomy 23, verse 8, the children that are begotten shall enter the congregation of the Lord. What happened when we came into the land? We began to say blessings on Mount Gerizim and curses on Mount Ebal. The strangers that was amongst us, they were in the congregation with us. Not meaning they had a part with us, but they were living amongst us and they dwelt amongst us. That's why it says, shall enter into the congregation of the Lord. What is the congregation of the Lord? We just read back in Joshua 8:35. It says that there was not a word of all that Moses commanded, which Joshua read before all the congregation of Israel. That is the congregation of the Lord. All right? So those are a couple scriptures to help edify and explain what it means concerning the nations or the strangers that's going to be in the congregation of the Lord and the not abhorring an Edomite. I pray this was edifying to those that are uncertain about what it's talking about and that you can increase in understanding. And this really is to cut down the lie of lying Christianity and many Israelites that are teaching a curious blend of heresy that all nations can be saved along with us. So with that, I pray this was edifying, and with that, I will say shalom.